even get into managers or performers of that ilk, WWE has over 200 active wrestlers on its books. 200! That is massive, and even with 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, and an hour of NXT, there's no surprise some people just vanish as soon as they sign with the company. Every segment would need to be about 4 seconds long to incorporate them. It is madness. You would think they wouldn't even want any more bodies, but that's not the case at all. As the wrestling industry becomes more competitive than it has been in years, WWE wants to pick up as many people as they can, even if it's just to keep them away from all elite wrestling. There are some individuals though who would genuinely make WWE better, and it seems odd that they haven't gone after them. But that just may be a matter of time. I'm Simon from What Culture. Remember to smash that subscribe button. And this is 10 wrestlers you can't believe WWE hasn't signed yet. Number 10, Pentagon Jr. No one knows how WWE would see or book Pentagon Jr, but my word, should he be a discussion point for anyone who calls themselves a wrestling promoter. He has created an amazing buzz for himself wherever he has competed and seems to be unbreakable. Can do whatever crazy move he thinks of and then walks away unharmed. He underlined this when he exploded on Lucha Underground with skills that were just ridiculous, and has also proven he gets the character side too. He has played with the dark side many a time. A genuine star throughout the indie scene at this point, he would be perfect for WWE, as they do indeed look for a new Latino star. Obviously AEW got their hands on him first, and that will be his home for the foreseeable future, but he plays into every aspect Vince McMahon's traveling circus needs at the moment. When he's next available, surely they will reach out, as rumouredly they did before. Pentagon Jr turned them down once, but who knows what happens second time around. Number 9, Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi Blackheart won a lot of people over at Evolve's 10th anniversary show with her punky attitude feeling quite refreshing and different. She was also involved in a crazy no DQ match where she proved she can more than carry her own. This has been backed up by her performances in IWA Mid-South and Shine, where she basically has all the pieces ready to go. Just needs a bit of fine tuning, which is why she'd be perfect for NXT. That is what it's designed to do, don't forget. You take these diamonds in the rough and polish them till they shine. Shotzi surely has to be on AEW's radar too, as they look to expand their women's division, and WWE would benefit from having someone like that as well. We need more main event level wrestlers that look like credible threats against the likes of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, and that's what Blackheart could be. Just gotta get her to sign on the dotted line. Number 8, Brian Pillman Jr. Much like his dad, Brian Pillman Jr. is already spreading his allegiances to keep you guessing as to where he may end up. He's a firm fixture of MLW at the moment, but has also been on some AEW shows and spoke out about how he'd like to go to WWE someday. It's ticking all those boxes. If he did head in that direction, it would be some kind of poetic justice, as Brian Pillman Sr. was never able to finish his wrestling story when he tragically passed away in 1997. That doesn't seem to have affected the young Pillman, who speaks fondly of the company, and given how much WWE enjoys second and third generation athletes, seems like a good fit. You can even go back to the loose cannon gimmick, which would be just as workable now as it was 20 or so years ago. We need that air of unpredictability, and who better to do that than a guy which was born into the idea. Would be a wonderful story all around. Number 7, Brian Cage. Vince McMahon must not have seen Brian Cage, because if he had, surely the man would have been signed on the spot and rushed through to the main roster quicker than you can say big guys. Looks like a monster, and he has proved all over the world he's got the in-ring chops too. Cage is not just your stereotypical monster. The problem is that he was under developmental contract back in 2009 for a second before being set loose. That didn't stop him, as we know, but there may be some idea that this counts for something even though it was a decade ago. Probably should just forget about it. Why WWE didn't come calling 5 years ago when he was smashing it in Lucha Underground, we will never know, but you gotta think at some point Brian will be drafted in. Put him against Bobby Lashley, and Vince McMahon would fall off his chair. I know I'd certainly like to see it, as I think he's a darn good pro wrestler all around, but only time will tell. Number 6, James Storm. You know who is lost on the main roster right now? Bobby Roode. You know who has great chemistry together? Bobby Roode and James Storm. WWE needs tag teams, they rock together, so if somebody could please pitch this backstage and make it happen, I think we would all appreciate it. And I get it, Storm is doing pretty well for himself. He's the NWA champion as I say these words, and is constantly flying around the place showing the world what he can do. Considering his only period in WWE was in NXT for 2 weeks though, which he decided to end, well, it doesn't make much sense. You think he'd want to give it a proper crack of the whip? What do I know? This is why a re-coming together of Rude and Storm would rock. It fills a big gap in the tag division and would light a fire under Bobby, who needs it desperately. As for James, at least he can have that WWE memory he holds on to long after he retires. Even if that's a thing anymore. Number 5, Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal can do such a good Ric Flair impression, even Ric Flair goes nuts when he does it. I know that doesn't equate to much in wrestling, but there probably should be some kind of rule that if you're that skilled, you automatically get offered a WWE contract. That's obviously not a real thing, and really, Lethal doesn't need WWE that much anymore. Ring of Honor has provided a post-TNA haven for Jay, who has been at the top of his physical and creative game for some time, and his multiple runs as world champion have been met with universal praise. Still, with that said, I think most fans would like to see Lethal have a go up north just to see what he could do. Like many in this list, if he ended up in NXT, he would probably kick all of the ass. He's made for it. Really, this should have happened 10 years ago, or at least in 2011 when he left Impact, but there's little point looking back when now we need to look forward. In that sense, let's hope one day it does go down. Out of curiosity, if nothing else. Number 4, Eli Drake. Newsflash, Eli Drake was signed to a WWE contract in 2013. For one reason or another, it never worked out. Before long, he was back out in the wild, and from here, he went on to make a serious name for himself in Impact, and is now doing the same with NWA, where he works exclusively. Given what his shtick is, it seems like WWE missed the boat with him a little bit. He works out, can cut an asshole heel promo, and when the bell rings is more than capable. Could turn up on Raw tomorrow and not look out of place at all. There were rumours at the time he fell out with then trainer Bill DeMott, but if that was the only reason you think we could have sorted it, I guess not. The real upsetting thing is that in 2013 the future was bright NXT-wise. The Shield were about to rewrite the game and Drake could have fitted in wonderfully, including whenever a main roster call-up came. He seems happy enough, which is the main thing, but you'd have to think at some stage talks will take place, if nothing else. Or maybe they already have. No agreement was able to be reached. Number 3, Nick Aldous. A well-spoken, smart, gym-going good wrestler, Nick Aldous has WWE guy written all over him. Not literally. So much so that each year when WWE announces new signees, most expect the Brit to be on the list. To date, this hasn't been the case. Becoming the finished article during his time in TNA under the watchful eye of Doug Williams, you could kind of understand why WWE didn't jump back then, but by the time he left Impact in 2015, there was no two ways about it. Nick could have gone anywhere and been ready for whatever the world threw at him. He'd served his time. The News Mill reported there were some talks between the two, but when WWE wouldn't commit to anything, Aldous smartly went and looked for other opportunities and has continued to have a more than solid career. Just look at everything he was involved in at All In. You'd have to imagine one day he will hit the super big time, but it's just a wonder why that hasn't been in WWE. Number 2, Tessa Blanchard. When Tessa Blanchard was part of the NXT Mae Young Classic, she seemed like a lock to end up in WWE permanently. When that didn't happen and she eventually made her way to AAA and Impact, there was a lot of confusion. Why wouldn't WWE want to have this person under contract? Not only the daughter of Tully, which gives her instant credibility with old school fans, everything she has done since then has been brilliant. The fact she was kind of a bit player in that tournament is just madness in hindsight. You could have built the whole thing around her should you have wanted to. There is still time, of course. Tessa is only 24 and is amassing so much experience that she's only gonna get better and better. Given her dad is now with AEW, the writing may be on the wall, so if WWE does want to make this happen, they should strike sooner rather than later. Just stands to reason. Number 1, Will Ospreay. Maybe not so surprising, as the aerial assassin doesn't seem interested in WWE at all. That doesn't mean he's not on their radar, because he 100% is. He is likely being looked at by AEW too, but Will Ospreay is so content in New Japan that he will probably be there for some time to come. He just moved out there, for example. That's a pretty good indication of what his plans are. Beyond that, though, who knows what path he will go down? You never say never in wrestling, and Will himself has never ruled anything out. He's too smart for that, and there may come a time in his life where he deems it to be the best option. Not like he wouldn't smash it there either. Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers in the world. A man who doesn't need WWE by any stretch of the imagination. If he continues in the same direction, he will probably be able to dictate his entire career as company after company makes him offer after offer. Not so bad, and shows that when you're good, you hold all the cards. So Will Ospreay, probably has around about 10 packs of cards. Know of any other wrestlers that should be signed to WWE or maybe about to be signed to WWE? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Then you head over to whatculture.com and you read yourself some more articles. You follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture, and before you say it in the comments and make my day and put a smile on my face, I haven't been signed to WWE yet either, and if we're being realistic, I probably never will. Sad emoji crying face.